Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I guess this is the ideal time for me to speak after lunch, after a nice lunch afternoon with the eyes heavy and eyelids drooping. This is the ideal time for me to wake you guys up. So let me see if I am successful in doing that. First up, I would like to say that I'm here because of my passion for aviation and anything which goes up in the air. And since the drones and UAVs, they all go up in the air, and so I am interested in that. I just want to ask a simple question to audience. What is your first brush with the drone? You know, when were you first saw or, met a drone in your life? How many years ago was that? I guess if about myself, I was to say, about 10, 12 years ago, I was at a wedding, and there was this drone which came from the, from top, and it was taking some pictures, and that was my first brush with the drone. Just about 10 or 12 years ago, I would say. And before that, I hadn't seen a drone, I hadn't heard about a drone. But amazingly, within the 10-year period, the drones have evolved in a way that we wouldn't have imagined. Drones today have disrupted everything in transportation. Whether it is moving people or things, goods, pizza deliveries and, Flipkart, Amazon deliveries to, warfare. Who would have thought that a humble drone costing a few $100s would give nightmares to the much wanted air defenses in the world? The Iron Domes and the David Sling and Arrow, all these S-300, S-400, the top of the line defenses, air defenses, have totally fallen flat in front of a humble $200 drone. Even a couple of days ago, a drone evaded all the defenses that Israel had and crashed into a urban center in Eilat in Israel. So that's the potential of the drones, that it has disrupted the transportation industry in a massive way, like nothing has done it so far. So with the drones, now we have learned a few more things. That's air mobility, specifically urban air mobility, regional air mobility, advanced air mobility, all kinds of things have come up. And my topic today is about opportunities and challenges which come with the urban air mobility or advanced air mobility. I guess I don't have to spend much time on opportunities. The drone has endless opportunities in every sector, every vertical, whether it is commercial, whether it is fast-moving consumer good delivery. In the context of this particular event, firefighting, the drones are today, doing the firefighting, and very successfully too, where the human beings can't go because of the danger. In a fire situation, the drone can go and put out the fire. Warfare, I have spoken about. So you think of any field, agriculture, farming, everywhere, weather mapping, predicting weather patterns. You think of any vertical, any industry, anywhere, and the drone can be utilized, and the drone is being utilized. So I guess not much to be said about the opportunities that are there with drones and urban air mobility. It's the challenges that I'm going to spend some time on it. So we'll just start with what's air mobility, and I apologize for the very bland slides. Actually, I am not too good at this at my age. Normally, I make a presentation, I send it to my daughter, and she embellishes it, puts the animation, etc. But yesterday I sent it to her. She's in UK and she overslept and she didn't see my message. So I had to bring it like this. So air mobility, we all know anything which moves in the air, it comes under air mobility. Conventionally, we were used to moving things with fixed wing aircraft, with balloons, and with helicopters. Right? That was the scope of air mobility that we were aware of. And urban air mobility is when you move things in air in urban areas, that's urban air mobility. When you move them in regional areas, meaning from the city center to suburbs or nearby towns, it becomes regional air mobility. And advanced air mobility, you add automation, you add, unmanned aerial vehicles, eVTOLs, VTOLs, eVTOLs, that all encompasses, then it becomes urban air, advanced air mobility. So the objective of the advanced air mobility, or AAM, is to integrate everything that flies in an urban setting or in a regional setting, and then that becomes an advanced air mobility. So there is, of course, requirements for this, and the challenges are in that area. That is basically making the rules. And I mean, as we are all aware, anything to do with airs or airships or things go up in the air, the things happen first and the rules are made later. It's like you start playing a game and then you make the rules. People with a little bit of historical perspective, we all know that the aircraft started flying in 1903 with the Wright brothers, and 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s, aircraft are flying without any rules. The worthwhile rules were first formulated in a structured way at the Chicago Convention. That was in 1946. And that's when ICAO was formed, and that's when we got the rules for flying the aircrafts from one continent, one city to another, one continent to another, going over oceans, etc. So the rules were formulated after the aircraft had already started flying for 30 odd years. The same thing is happening with drones and urban air mobility. We have the drones flying already, but we still have to write the rules. You all know that the rules for drones, there was first a protocol called No Permission, No Takeoff, NPNT, and that didn't last very long. It was withdrawn, and now we have, I would say a very mundane rule, which is that zonal rule. You have red, yellow, and green zones. You don't fly anything in red zone and yellow zone. There are some protocols, and green zone, you can fly whatever you want. So, but the exact rules for the drones are not yet written. And now we have added to the mix a few other things. We have added the eVTOLs, the VTOLs, the UAVs, and all of them are going to be in the same congested airspace over urban areas. So which makes a right mix of, a lot of hodgepodge. And especially in Indian perspective, in Indian cities, very congested, old parts of the cities, I wonder how a drone would be able to, find its way without hitting some wire or some, things like that. So all that needs to be worked at, and that is the challenge. That's the challenge I'm going to talk about. I guess I only look at it one way, that in a place like, Bhendi Bazaar in Mumbai here, or Crawford Market, if you have to have a drone going there, or a UAV or an eVTOL, you need to put up a huge, a tall platform in the sky, so which will be about 40, 50, 60 feet above the tallest thing in that area. And then you put the drone on top of it, or UAV or whatever you want on top of it. And then you have an elevator with things coming down, people coming down if it's a person carrier. That's the only way we can do it. Of course, in the more planned cities like, for example, Chandigarh or, New Raipur or all those cities where you can have, but then we have already started doing things and we don't have the infrastructure as yet, like vertiports. That's the one which is going to be there for drones and UAVs to come and, put itself down in an urban environment. So, and from there, then things move down, and then you go up, etc. So, anyway, that's part of the challenges. So, I've talked about this, and okay, these are all definitions. We'll skip these. Difference between air mobility and advanced air mobility, I've already spoken about, so just a graphic of that. UAM potential, the numbers-wise, it's going to be some $26 billion by 2028. That's a figure I got from, from the internet. And if you will see the colors-wise, it's equally spread in all the areas, the North America, the Asia Pacific, South America. Normally, there is a vast difference in everything, It's more in the North America or Europe, and it's less in the, Asia Pacific or Africa. But as far as drones and urban UAM is concerned, it's just evenly spread in all areas. So drone revolution is universal, and it's taking place everywhere exactly in the same way. Okay, difference between an advanced air mobility and eVTOL. Advanced air mobility refers to the revolution of air transport primarily focused on the use of eVTOL aircraft, commonly known as drones or air taxis, while AAM encompasses broad range of technologies. So eVTOLs are designed to take off and land vertically, making them well suited for urban environment where space is limited. AAM encompasses more than eVTOL, so okay. So opportunities, as I told you, I don't have to list anything. People all in this place know what are the opportunities. Challenges is the one which we should be talking about. The integration of urban air mobility and advanced air mobility into the existing ATM. Now we have an ATM in place, which is the air traffic management, which manages the, presently it manages the fixed wing aircraft and gliders and helicopters, the, rotary wing platforms. Now, the challenge is for us to create UTM. Now, UTM is an acronym for UAS traffic management. That is unmanned air systems and manned air systems, and you combine them to create a UTM. So that is the challenge which is being faced at the moment by the regulators, not only in India, all over the world. Now, what's FAA doing about it? So they have launched EIPP, which is eVTOL Integration Pilot Program. That's been launched, which endeavors to amalgamate the existing air traffic management, which is managing the fixed wing aircraft and the rotary wing platforms, along into all the existing, all the coming up drones, eVTOLs, UAVs, all that, and then create a system which is it's a Herculean task, because the reach of the UAM or AAM is much more than the reach of the fixed wing aircraft. Helicopters themselves are creating a problem for the ATM, for the air traffic management. Whereas the fixed wing aircraft, you know that there is an air corridor, you have a designated air corridor, the aircraft will go in that corridor, go take off, land, there is a standard departure or standard arrival protocol, and you are done with it. So it doesn't go anywhere left, right from that air corridor, okay? Whereas drones, by the nature of the utility it is going to provide, or the eVTOLs, it's going to go from downtown of a city to airport to another area. It's going from a manufacturing hub carrying things into the city center or in other areas. So it's going to crisscross the city, the region, in a way that is unimaginable for fixed-wing aircraft. So to integrate all that and to make a safe system where things don't collide with each other. As it is, drones are creating problem for fixed-wing aircraft. If you guys remember, 2-3 years ago, Gatwick aircraft was shut down for 48 hours or 36 hours because a drone, meandered onto the main runway. And, you know, the airport had to be shut down. Now, whether it was hostile or it was, you know, benign, that never came out. But the fact is that the busy airport like Gatwick was shut down for 36 hours, costing millions of dollars of revenue loss to the airlines and to the airport and etc. and inconveniencing the people. So imagine that this is just one drone at one particular airport. Imagine hundreds and thousands of drones crisscrossing a city and coming dangerously close to, you know, an airport. And some of the cities, Chennai, for example, Meenambakkam Airport is in the middle, heart of the city. Mumbai here, Sahar Airport is in the middle of the city. Of course, now the new airports coming up are out of the city, Shamshabad in Hyderabad, Devanhalli in Bangalore. They are fairly out of the town. So you can probably create some ecosystem there where the drones and the UAVs and the AAM is kept away, safely away from the fixed wing aircraft or the helicopters. But what about those cities where the airports are bang in the middle of the cities? There you have to, the aircraft or the fixed wing system has to come to land. So it has to come down to 500 feet, 400 feet, 300 feet till it touches down. And that's the place where the drones also fly. And on the runway or the localizer path, if there is a drone, it can create a problem. So that is the challenge which is being faced by the industry. US FAA earlier had an IPP, which they had launched in, I think, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And that was to integrate drones, only drones, because AAM and UAM had not been heard about yet. It was only the drones, and they were working on it, but they shut down that program in 2022, and they started working on the eIPP, as I have said. And they are also developing the UTM, which I have talked about. What's EASA doing? Well, EASA is doing something similar to what FAA is doing. So they have started a UAM regulatory framework. And as a matter of fact, EASA was the first to authorize eVTOL aircraft operations. EASA has prepared U-Space or UTN regulatory package enabling safe integration of UAS ops in urban areas since 2023. Right, so we have talked about FAA and EASA. So what's happening in our backyard? What's DGCA India doing? I would be happy to learn from anybody of you if you are aware of what DGCA India is doing about it, because frankly, I don't know what DGCA India is doing presently. So I tried to find out from some of my friends in DGCA, and I sent them a list of questions. This is the list of questions I sent to my friend in DGCA, if he can get me the answers for this, because frankly, I didn't know about this. So what I asked him was, has DGCA started the process of drafting rules for urban air mobility or advanced air mobility? Will the existing drone operating protocols, that is red, yellow, green zone, remain as is for drones, or will drone ops become a part of the overarching UTM, that is UAS air traffic management system? When will UAM be integrated into the existing air traffic management system? Will DGCA create the framework for UTM in-house, or they will outsource it to a private entity, or they will borrow it from EASA or FAA? As you guys know, even our aircraft maintenance rules, and we have borrowed from EASA. The way we maintain our aircraft and the way we train our engineers, we have borrowed from EASA. You know, CAR 145, 147, 66, all these we have borrowed from EASA. Of course, we have done some customization to suit our requirements. So will we do that, or we'll make it ourselves, or we'll borrow it from them? And you see what the pitfall in borrowing from EASA or FAA is that, and then customizing it is that it is neither 100% EASA rule, nor it is 100% India rule. So it's in between. So then, you know, there is this famous couplet, na idhar ke rahe, na udhar ke rahe, na khuda hi mila, na visale sanam. So what we end up, which has happened with us in case of aircraft maintenance and MROs, administration, what has happened is that we borrowed from EASA, then we customized it. So neither it is 100% EASA, and nor it is 100% India. So, we end up in the middle of it. So whether that will happen and who will develop it, whether the infrastructure, I spoke over the vertiports. Who is going to make those vertiports? Will it be Airport Authority of India? Will it be the local authorities, the local municipality? What are the specifications for that, etc. And timeline for these. So these are the questions that I posed because I had no answers and I was to come and speak here. And what I learned from my friends in DGCA, don't quote me on this, this is off the record, it's not official at all, that at the moment there are some advisory circulars which are on the draft stage. We don't have a CAR as of yet. CAR stands for Civil Aviation Requirements. So anything to do with civil aviation in the country, DGCA has to issue a CAR to regulate it, which gives the, how we do things. So no CAR presently, only we have some DGCA advisory circulars, which are in the draft stage. And again, to the second point, no change as of now. Airport Authority of India will decide that. Third, again, Airport Authority of India will decide. Fourth, it will be done by Airport Authority of India. It will be a mix available FAA and or EASA rules will be customized to suit our requirements. No CAR exists as of date for operation of drones, urban air mobility, eVTOLs. Absolutely no CAR existing as on date. Only there are some advisory circulars. And the requirements are drafted by Operations Directorate as advisory circular. So at the moment, we are on the advisory circular stage, no CAR. CAR is the governing principle, so that has not been issued. And in case of timeline, it's very interesting reply I got is that there is no timeline when we are going to do it, though the drones are flying all over us. There was a drone flying in this room, but there is no CAR on governing that. And the last bit is most interesting. No operator has approached DGCA for validation. So the DGCA will come into picture or they will get into the act if one of you goes there and say, oh, I've got this drone and I want to fly this drone. Tell me what are the rules for it. So unless people go, they are saying that they are not going to get into the act. So those are the challenges I have highlighted, that the making drones, importing drones, flying drones, drone training, pilots for drones is not an issue. That is already happening. The issue is how to integrate not only the drones, the eVTOLs and all other systems, the autonomous systems, into the existing air traffic management to create a UAS traffic management. That is a big challenge. And unless we come to grips with it in a fairly expeditious way, we will not be, we might come to a stage where there will be a ban or a bar on flying of drones because we don't have the rules as yet. And that is something which I foresee happening unless we come, we work on war footing and create something in very short span of time. So, well, that's all I had to say. Thank you for your time. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, thank you very much. Thank you.